Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of September 9th, 2025. We're at the Carver Police Station Meeting Room. These proceedings will be videotaped and rebroadcast by Area 58 TV. If we could all stand for the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. First on the agenda this evening, we have an A&R plan. This plan has been prepared for the purpose of creating lots 3-1 and 3-2, assesses map 86, lot 13, as shown hereon and located at Rochester Road and Pine Street, Carver, Mass, in the Tourist Commercial Zoning District. And do we have someone here to make a presentation? All right, I think we have a microphone right there if you'd like that.
Arthur Board, on behalf of Beaverville Land Holdings, and Brenda Johnson is with me also.
And if you could, did you sign in, Art and
Yep.
Brenda?
We presented this plan once before, and there were questions of adequate access to the buildable portion of Lot 2 off the Pine Street. I've looked at the regulations and I don't see where that's a requirement, actually, to access the buildable portion of the lot. Mass General Law says frontage is not illusory because there's upland across the entire 150 feet of that lot. And there's adequate access off of Pine Street to that portion of the lot. Subdivision control law doesn't talk about to the buildable portion of the lot because you're not creating, A&R lots, plans don't create buildable lots, they create lots. That's why we refiled it. We do show a conceptual driveway. Subject to conservation approval, there's no wetlands to be filled, it's all buffer zone to get there.
Okay.
But again, we need a lot to be able to go to conservation. So
Very good.
it's our opinion that both lots have frontage, they have area, they have adequate access off of the public ways that they're front on.
Okay. All right, very good. Do any of the members of the board have any questions?
See, we have a memo here that kind of covers my question, so.
Okay, very good.
And I'll be happy to talk about the memo I provided if you like, Madam Chair.
Mr. Lee?
No,
You all set?
yeah.
Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dillo? Have any questions? Just have to turn around here.
Want the?
Yeah, that's all.
Good.
It is easy.
Sorry.
No further questions from the board?
I don't at this time.
No? Okay, very good. Do I get a motion on this? We'll close the public. Well, I actually have to allow the public to come up on the A&R, no, I don't.
Not
I get a
on-
motion?
not on the A&R.
Yeah, not on the A&R. Do I get a motion to
I'll make
approve?
a motion.
And I'll second.
What's the motion?
He's making a motion to approve,
Okay.
and Ms. Sordillo seconded it?
Now we open it for discussion.
Yes. Yeah.
If
Do
we
you have
approve
any
it,
dis-
It has to be a non-buildable lot.
Excuse me?
If we approve it, it has to be a non-buildable lot. If it doesn't have vital access for the fire department, police, and various other agencies, we can't prove it as a buildable lot. And this says the fire department says
Yeah.
it doesn't have the vital access requirement.
Not adequate access to buildable. Not adequate access.
Fire department states there is not adequate access to the buildable portion of those lots.
Mr. Borden, are you proposing that this is a buildable lot
Once
by the
again-
access?
Once again, we are not endorsing this as buildable lot.
Just a lot,
A lot.
a lot.
A lot, and I disagree with the adequate access to the buildable portion of the lot. I would like to know where in the regulations, the black and white section verse that is. Subdivision control law clearly says access to the parcel, to the lot, from the public way, period. Doesn't talk about to the buildable part of the lot.
I would agree with that, but I think our concern is the correspondence from the fire department.
Can I speak?
Right, and let me just say that a lot by lot is a buildable portion of land, so we would have to specifically state that this is not a buildable lot. We can separate them.
Right.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Brenda Johnson, 28 Pine Ridge Way. It's to Mr. Bott. When I went in to file this plan, I asked if I had to pay the fee because you had already voted on it. And he said, it's a whole new plan. So yes, he didn't say it. That's what got relayed to me. So, but the notes from the fire department are from the original plan, not this plan. So why wouldn't he have gone and gotten a new note from the fire department with a new plan? Because it's different. It shows the road. It shows where they can turn around.
Right,
He
right.
wrote the 9th. This is a whole new plan. He should have never done those notes from the 3rd, from March. If I had to pay the fee, it's a whole new thing.
Mr. Bott?
If I may. So it is a whole new thing. It is a whole new A&R plan. The previous one was not endorsed by the planning board. To Mr. Borden's question, in my memorandum, it states, the courts have determined there are 3 standards that must be met for lots shown on the plan to be entitled to A&R endorsement. All lots are on a qualified way. This is. All lots have adequate frontage. They do. And vital access must exist to each lot. The conditions that an A&R are endorsed upon are the conditions on the ground at the time of the endorsement. If you can provide adequate access to the buildable portion of the lot, and I'm just saying, if there was a driveway built on this spot, and the fire department looked at that driveway and said, this driveway that's built in this spot provides us adequate access to the buildable portion of the lot, then likely I would not be recommending the board withhold their endorsement. But conditions for an A&R plan are based on what's on the ground at the time. The example I tend to use is that if you have a parcel of land that has a guardrail in front of it, you can't get onto the lot because of the guardrail. You can't get to the accessible portion of the lot. If someone was to remove that guardrail and come back, then the board can say, oh yes, there's adequate access to this the lot, to the buildable portion of the lot. Adequate access has always been a requirement in the case law that I've seen over the years, and like I said, I've been doing this since 1998. If there was a roadway there, a driveway there, perhaps the fire department might say, yeah, this is fine for us. But conditions are based upon what is on the ground at the time. You cannot condition an A&R. You can say, yes, we're going to endorse this A&R, but only if they build the driveway. They are not appealable. They are not conditionable. An A&R is a decision by the board that adequate access exists, and that's why we reach out to these folks. And the planning board, I basically dusted off my memo from March 11th, confirmed the facts on the ground, and in my opinion, based on case law and things that I've seen, there is not adequate access to the buildable portion of lot 3-2. The board could endorse a plan and say, yeah, 3-1 is fine, but we're going to note that 3-2 is not a buildable lot because there's not adequate access to the buildable portion of the lot. and I'll be happy to find that particular memorandum in the Planner's Land Use Code from DHCD and forward it on to Mr. Gordon.
Okay.
Well, I respectfully disagree. He's talking about adequate access to the lot from Pine Street, which there is, and adequate access to the buildable portion of the lot. It's two different things. Under the subdivision control law, we have access, we show access from both public ways. There's nothing blocking the 150 feet of frontage. Any vehicle can pull in and have access to the lot. That's what the subdivision control law says. Doesn't talk about buildable area, because these are not building lots. These are lots, period. We have a whole process to go through to be able to make them building lots. Could be perked, Board of Health, Conservation maybe, Building Inspector, the whole route that's gotta go before they're considered buildable.
Correct.
Can I say something?
Yes.
So currently, the driveway, the proposed driveway, is currently a bog road. Is it a little overgrown? It is a little overgrown. So if we went to conservation and made that road a driveway, would you approve the A&R plans for both lots?
If it's vital access, the fire department needs to get it.
It's getting it now. That memo that he gave you is from March. This is a new plan. He
We would
never
still
went
need-
back to the fire
We would still
department.
need approval through the emergency services that it provides adequate access for emergency.
So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, if we made the driveway and it had adequate access, you would approve the lot as an A&R?
I can't answer that question until something comes in front of me.
Mr. Bott,
Ma'am,
if they amended the plan and we sought further approval, would that be acceptable?
if they amended the plan,
Well, Ms. Johnson is saying if she were to make
If
the
they were-
proper access.
She's saying if they were to actually install an all surface weather road with appropriate turnarounds for the fire department and all of that, if that was already installed.
Not necessarily if anything added to the plan, but if you did that on the
Doing
ground.
exactly what's up on that plan.
What's on the plan,
But
okay.
we go to conservation to get approval for that first. We're just doing it backwards, basically.
And this isn't site plan review, so
Right, right.
so if I may, I would venture to say that if the applicant went to conservation with a plan that they had produced, it showed what the roadway was going to be, and that roadway passed muster with the fire department, and the fire department said, yeah, that's good to us, and they came back to you and the road was built, then that issue of inadequate access to the buildable portion of the lot might provide more comfort to the planning board.
Right.
But keep in mind, that roadway is not, how long is that roadway?
700 feet.
How
It's
many-
not a roadway, it's a driveway,
How long is the driveway?
700 feet.
So the driveway is 750 feet. And under subdivision control, the maximum length for your subdivision road is much less than 750 feet. So you'd essentially be making a driveway that doesn't comply with subdivision bylaw. But if the planning board, I mean, if the fire department said, as they're building it, we can get to it, then they can come back to the board. Now, I can't put the board on the hook for anything that might happen in the future. But if the issue is adequate access, and if the fire department says there's adequate access because the road's been built, it would seem like the board might have a greater level of comfort to endorse the plan.
Right. I would agree. Any further comments?
Yeah, I can't approve this without the bylaws. So,
Right.
um,
Okay.
So right now you have a motion on the floor to endorse the plan with a second.
We did, yes.
Do we need to get further?
Do you, what are your thoughts on this, Mr. Borden?
I told you, I respectfully disagree on the access to the buildable portion of the lot. Those lots on that plan meet the A&R requirement. frontage area, access to the lot.
Well,
What
as you
they're
can
saying,
tell,
what they're saying in this letter is that there's not adequate access to the lot. They're saying that Pine Street doesn't provide adequate access. If you read it,
right. Well, it's just a little difficult for us right now because even though this is a prior memo, it's still a memo from the fire department, which indicates there
but
isn't,
again, that would come into play in the building permit process,
right,
not at this stage of the game.
yeah. So if we, Mr. Robinson, you made the motion to approve?
I did.
Okay, and you
You can
seconded
vote
that?
that motion.
Yeah, no, I was just going to
Okay,
confirm that.
Okay, sorry.
All right,
Stay over here.
thank you. All right, want to go to a vote?
I'll say aye.
I say nay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Kevin Robinson says nay.
Mr. Shea says nay.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
So that's 3-2-0.
Yeah.
All right, we'll endorse the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight.
They always set it up.
Next on the agenda this evening, we have an A&R, and the intent of this plan is to reconfigure lot lines, assesses map 126, lot 4-1, as shown hereon, and located at 55 Cranberry Road, Carver, Mass., in the residential agricultural zoning district. Good evening.
Good evening, Jeff Youngquist, Outback Engineering. Basically, okay, I'm gonna be scolded. Thank you. Basically, this is the current, what would be the old lot line. This already has a house on it. It already is occupied. And then basically what he wants to do is to make the lot go like this. All this would be with the lot. Just can reconfigure the lot lines.
Can you see the other side again, please?
Sure. That's the way it is right now. This is the lot lines. How it got there, I don't know. If anything, we're making it make the lot, because it gets 150 feet of frontage, we're making it, it has 40 feet now, we're gonna make it less non-conforming. It would have 4621 and the area would increase considerably. It already has a house, so it doesn't need a building permit.
Right, that explains a lot of my questions. Because when I glanced at this, it looked like we were creating a rear lot, which would be non-conforming because of the existing house, but with the other configuration, I don't think it makes any difference.
Makes it a little bit less non-conforming. Instead of 40 feet of frontage, you have 4621.
Excuse me, sir. Not that it matters, I was just wondering, is the bog still in production that you want to include on the lot?
I don't know, but I imagine it is.
Yeah. Any questions from the board?
Not right now.
No?
I'm all set.
Yeah, you all set? Very good. Could I get a motion?
Said motion.
Motion to approve
To approve.
the A&R 55 Cranberry Road, Carver.
Yes.
Mr. Bott?
And you've heard?
Very good. If there's no further discussion, Mr. Lake?
Aye. Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sodillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to make sure you sign that, so that the note taker can,
I haven't, I signed it already.
oh, good, okay, I wasn't
First one
sure.
on the list.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I would like to ask the board if we could make a motion to change the order to move up the minor modification in front of the article matters.
Fine with me.
Acceptable to me.
Okay,
That's fine.
all set? Yeah. All right. Mr. Bott, everyone approved the moving the modification, so I will know. Okay. Next on the agenda this evening, we have a minor modification requested on behalf of Renewal Energy Development Partners LLC for a minor modification to the special permit and site plan decision located at 96 Purchase Street in Carver, Massachusetts, the property, 96 Purchase Street, 0 Leeway, 0 Rear Fosdick Road in Carver, Mass. Assesses map 57, map 58, lot 2-A, lot 2-0 in the residential agricultural zoning district.
First in public hearing.
Wasn't sure where we
It's on the wrong side. Unless you're,
I don't,
they're always on the wrong side. This is better one. All right, kind of trust trouble with it. You may.
Should we send for the vote and tell them?
yeah, what?
Should we send for the vote?
I know.
If he can get it.
And everything's behind you too.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, perfect. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the introduction. For the record, Sarah Stearns with Beals and Thomas. And with me is Hank Bennett for the applicant, Renewable Energy Development Partners. We're back in front of the board with the Fosdick Road Solar Project. The board issued a decision on special permit and site plan earlier this summer. Since then, since we last spoke, the SMART program has changed slightly to now require battery energy storage. If you recall, this project did not have energy storage associated with it. So per one of the conditions in the decision that was issued, we have returned to the board to discuss the addition of battery energy storage to comply with SMART as part of our minor modification application. So you can see on the screen here, this is, yep, see my mouse. This is the area of the former equipment pad, which is now expanded. I'm just gonna put a figure up that I had it all queued up. So we have in our application sort of a side-by-side where we show the approved equipment pad and then for a comparison, the expanded pad that would include the required battery storage in the same location. So that's the only change. Everything else is the same as the board had seen it as part of the previous review process. If you have questions, Hank and I are here to try to address.
Sir, can you just provide that complies with all the setbacks and
Yep, no change to any of the setbacks. Really, this is the only, on the plan, the dimensions are shown as well. So this 200-foot setback is still maintained from the property line.
I don't see the wetland delineation marks on here.
This is not wetland up in this area.
Right, but the 100-foot protected zone, the 65-foot zone should
Yep,
have.
they're right here. 65, 100, around this bog and pond. And if you recall, Mr. Shea, these are upland bogs. This is the same plan that was the plan of record. The change only is this equipment pad expansion.
Okay.
How are you planning to engineer the equipment pad to control any issues that might arise? Because upland bogs or not, they're still connected to the wetlands. And a bog is a bog, and all bogs get the 100-foot protected zone around them regardless.
Are you talking about erosion control issues?
I'm talking about if there's a fire or other issue, and what is going to be used to contain any suppressants from entering into the bog system, because the bogs are connected to those ponds. Upland bogs are not, a bog is a bog, and a bog still gets the same protection as any other, whether it's upland or not.
So in terms of emergency response protocol, which I think is what you're asking about, the applicant has been in touch with Carver Fire Department in terms of what the requirements are for battery storage, safety protocols, and operation and maintenance. That is something that, as we understand it, Carver Fire Department works out and refines with the applicant and operator during the building application permit process. So I don't know if you have anything further.
Is there a collection system for the suppressant? Is there any sort of berm system on this pad?
Right now, the
Please
preliminary,
identify yourself, sir.
I'm sorry, I think we met with RDP, the applicant. So right now, the preliminary design of the pad is similar to the existing approved pad. It's a gravel pad with a concrete, gravel area with a concrete housekeeping pad that where the electrical equipment will be mounted. So with the expansion of this fenced-in gravel area, the battery storage containers, which I think we submitted a picture of a typical one, looks like a Connex box. So those battery storage containers will be mounted on concrete pads. There's not a detailed design of the battery storage area yet, because as Sarah just said, we expect to work with the fire department we have to do a hazardous materials assessment according to Deputy Boyle and an emergency response plan. So we would comply with the fire department's requirements for containing any fire suppressant that is sprayed. The battery storage systems, all of them have an integrated fire suppression system using dry chemicals. But to Mr. Shade's point, whatever the fire department requires as far as containing those dry chemicals, if they're used within the storage area, we would do that. If it's a shallow berm around the equipment pad, sure.
Part of my concern is these things are over 30 feet long, almost 9 feet wide, and contain over 58,000 pounds of various chemicals and equipment. I personally don't like seeing it within a 100-foot area of the wetlands, which are clearly connected to the other wetlands.
Mr. Shad, we could put it on there, I can ask my engineer to confirm, but they're not within 100 feet of those upland bogs. Those storage containers would be greater than 100 feet from the upland bog.
I'd like that confirmed, please.
Sure.
I would also like to see a catch and containment system for any issues, which includes berming, and make sure nothing escapes into any of the areas around there.
Yeah, we're happy to do that. I guess my only request would be, could we just make a conditional on the fire department's requirements? Because we're going to have to comply with those anyways to get a building permit.
And have we heard from the fire department in regards to access to this site? Ms. Plott?
Yeah.
What we've heard from the fire department is that historically, the fire department has created a lot of conditions for special permits for solar and for battery energy storage because the fire and electrical code was struggling to keep up with some of the things the fire department was learning about. But in the email thread we've got from Assistant Deputy Chief Boyle, he said, you know, the code has caught up with a lot of these concerns, and so we don't require them as conditions for a special permit because we know that they can't operate without doing these things under the code. So previously, the fire department didn't have an issue with that. I think what we got from the fire department was their checklist, as well as a couple pages of email that I forwarded on to you that basically said, these very technical issues that you're discussing are the things that come up during the construction phase with building and fire, building department and fire.
And as far as access, nothing has changed from what was approved. There was a department letter as part of the site plan special permit process acknowledging that the access to this site is adequate. So nothing has changed with that.
Previously, but that was before we started adding, 240,000 tons of chemicals in there. They might need different equipment, they may need larger equipment, they might need specialized equipment. So I would certainly appreciate hearing from the fire department in regards to their access of equipment to such a site.
Sure, I'll defer to Mr. Boyle. I sent Deputy Boyle the plans as part of this, and that's the email response we got.
Carver Fire Department regarding access to the battery storage.
Yes, and revised padding.
Can do.
Any questions, Ms. Elliott? Mr. Dillo? Mr. Robinson?
For catch and contain, yeah.
I got it.
I'm all set.
Mr. Shea, would you like to make a motion subject to those conditions?
I would make a motion to continue until we get
So you want
information.
to wait until we receive the information and not make it subject to?
Right, he's gonna confirm the 100-foot. We should know that the fire department has adequate access to it and that the engineering for catch and contain has been implemented into the design.
Okay. Ms. Stearns, would you, is that acceptable to you?
Sure.
Is it 2 weeks are we talking about?
2 weeks.
Continuation?
Right now, the next scheduled planning board meeting is for September 23rd. We don't know if we're going to have a meeting next week because we want to continue some of the zoning articles. But at this point, we're probably looking at the 23rd. I will say this, looking at the agenda for the 23rd, there's a few things on it in addition to the MBTA zoning bylaw. So the board might want to do themselves a favor. I'm not saying meeting with me an extra time a month is a favor. But my board might consider the merits of having a meeting in a week, just to review things that we're still lingering about.
Would you have that ready in a week?
I think we can, yes.
Okay.
As long as we can get confirmation from Carver Fire, but I don't see that as a sticky point.
Okay, very good.
So, but to my question, I'm not trying to twist the board's arm to meet earlier, but right now our scheduled meeting is the 23rd.
I don't have a problem myself. I'll ask the rest of the members if you would be willing to meet on the 16th.
Yep.
I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Pleasure of the board.
Mr. Lake, would you? Yes, we will meet on the 16th. And so can I get a motion to continue until the 16th?
I'll make that said motion.
And I'll second.
And that will be in town hall.
Yes. Meeting room 1, I hope.
Allegedly.
Yes, yes.
7 p.m.
To be continued at 7 p.m., yes.
Okay, vote.
Yes. Okay.
Curtis Lake says aye. Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to Propose Article 8 to amend the Carver zoning bylaw, Section 290-2-2.3 Use Regulation Schedule, to see if the town will vote to amend the Carver zoning bylaw, Section 290-2-2.3 Use Regulation Schedule as shown below, with additions shown in bold and deletions shown in strike-through, to allow earth removal as a permitted use in the Green Business Park zoning district, or take any other action related thereto.
So Joanna, I have your presentation on the computer. This is,
Thank you. We just came from the Select Board office, and we did our presentation. I'm sure you were there.
And Joanne, I know that everyone knows who you are, but if you could just identify yourself for the note
Oh,
taker.
yes. Okay. Do I have to sign that? You-
Yes, if you could.
Do me a favor. Pass it. I only have one half of my hearing aids, and I don't hear from here, I hear from here. Don't you know it? If you're gonna, they have to, if they speak, they have to sign in, right? Okay, there you go. The presentation is on the board. And basically, my goal here was to make sure that I educated the planning board. You people have changed other than Mr. Robinson, who was well on the board prior to the 2015, 16, and 17 timeframe. The startup with the CRA was signing it's called the Land LDA, the Land Development Agreement. And in September 2015, to designate Route 44 LLC as the developer of the urban renewal plan per 760 CMR 12. Next screen. Here's a copy of what we signed. And if you look at the third whereas, definitely says the RDA wishes to designate the company as the redeveloper of the urban renewal plan. And then it goes on and it has more things and so forth. But anyway, I wanted you to take a look at that. So I wanted to make sure you understood that the RDA has the skin in the game. We have to be caring about what's going on. Oftentimes people say, well, what do you got to do with it? Well, this is what I'm trying to do, just mere education. The urban renewal plan writing began in 2015 and took several years of the CRA public hearings, which included the town planner and the hired writer of the plan. Final signing was approved by the CRA December 19, 2016. Determination by the planning board December 27th, 2016. Approved by the select board January 5th, 2017. I just took the urban renewal plan is long and large. I just went to the first so many pages and clipped it where I thought should be, you could read it and really become well aware of the ins and outs of what it's about, a summary, the cost, the ramifications, site preparation, public improvement, disposition, and in the appendices, which I didn't all include, but if you want any more, I gladly would include them. God bless you, whoever's needs. So we go through that. The first thing is, I just want to give you the very top. The town of Carver is a suburban community with a strong agricultural roots, and its population was 11,509 in 2010. Carver is located in the southeastern Massachusetts, roughly 38 miles south of Boston. And the town covers an area of approximately, which you probably already know, 39.7 square miles. Most of Carver's land is undeveloped and is either in agricultural use or open space. And it goes on, talks about history. The town of Carver recognizes the need to diversify its economy. The Carver Redevelopment Authority has assessed a range of potential redevelopment options for a new business park located on underutilized land in North Carver, based on the anticipated market for prepared commercial land and the beneficial fiscal impacts of carefully managed development on the town of Carver. The CRA is now advancing this urban renewal plan. That last, after the comma, is why we're here to let you understand what has happened. I think we could just go through that, Tom, and they can, at their own, read it. Let me just flip through that. The very last page of this is the area. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if we can figure out how to flip that, but this is the urban renewal plan. It's not just the green business park here, it's all of this. So it's quite large. There, he flipped it. There you can see, if you look on the right, that little Montello Street, that's where feast your eyes on Montello Street. Those, after Montello Street on the right side, those two pieces of property called the Webby, that was bought up by Route 44, that's where the water is already piped in. And I want you to know that all that water coming in, all piped in, plus the hydrants, is $3.2 million Mass Works grant. Please know that. When you talked the other day or on the video, you looked like you didn't know what kind of grants we got. Well, that's a $3.2 million grant. And Route 44 put on another $800,000 to make it $4 million, to create that entrance coming in, exit, and piping in all of the water, all set, all the three hydrants.
When you say we didn't know what grants we received,
Well,
I don't-
you were puzzled. I listened to the video
Are
and
you
you
talking about the-
looked away and,
Are you talking about the MDT 3A?
yeah.
Yeah, that, I don't think that's what
I think
stands in
you were,
jeopardy,
you were,
right?
well, when I watched it, I was thinking that when I was watching it, that nobody really knew on the planning board all the grants that
No,
we
we
got.
didn't. No one was forthcoming with that information, and I was not aware. But this, I don't think, is something that's tied into that.
It's not
They
tied
say
into
what?
that- It's not
It's-
tied into that grant process.
Exactly. It's not tied into that grant process that they were kind of hanging that over our heads, that they would take away from us. So I just want you to know that
All right.
we weren't referring to this.
Okay. Let it be known.
So I wasn't looking away at anything.
Okay. So let it be known.
Very good.
Thank you. So this is, after that, Mr. Bott, if you just come up, whoop, now you got to flip it over.
Flipping. Back from my days at McDonald's, I'm flipping.
During the time frame, a file management plant was created for the DEP in 2016 and then revised in 2017. All new to you, other than Mr. Robinson. I'm sure he's well aware of that. His name went on a couple of the documents that was filed. August 14, 2025, Sarah Hewins and the town administrator spoke with Gerard Martin, the bureau chief of the Southeastern Region of DEP. Gerard was the section chief of hazardous and toxic waste at Southeastern Region DEP back in the day. And on August 18th, Gerard Martin created a team call, and attendees were Town Administrator Sarah, George McLaughlin, and his hydrologist, who are both sitting here tonight. Late attendees were myself, Joanna, and Jim Ellerman. Gerard presented a map showing the area of contamination and explained that if George's proposed earth removal site is within the soil reclamation area, which we'll show you in a minute, he, the applicant, cannot remove that soil per the soil reclamation plan. If it is outside of the reclamation area, then he could. I just want you to, at this particular time, let me just interject something. This file management plan was completed and revised there in 2017. The area that they want to take out the earth today was all bought. If you can just flip that around, Tom, that would be great. That area, whoops, there we go. If you turned around to the right, you'll see that highlighted area was the contaminated area that was highlighted by the DEP. And if you look to your right, and it says Montello Street, coming in, that group area, that group of, right in there, is the land that Route 44 purchased. A lot of houses, there's 3 of them, going up off the street, that's where the hill is, where they want to remove. What Mr. Gerard said, if it was not within that reclamation area, and it is not, it's very, very far away, then it is appropriate to remove that earth. Are there any questions on that so far?
Was he currently an official of the Mass government when you're saying?
Can you hear him? I can't hear him. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Martin is currently employed by DEP
Okay.
in that capacity.
And he gave you that in writing?
What?
And he gave you that permission in writing?
It was recorded, it was a team meeting we had,
It's
but
because the contract requires through approvals of Mass DEP.
all of this is, yes, all of this is in
and the town
file.
of Carver. The earth removal requirements are specific and under contract with the town, the DEP, and various Mass state agencies. I'm just clarifying that as a point. It's in the contract, it's in the final environmental impact report of what is to be done, and it is your job as the RDA to ensure that the requirements of the FEIR are done, and they're done according to what was approved by the town, the state, and its various agencies.
Well, I don't know if I included it, but this file management plan, I included just one little page of it, but this file management plan is the one,
You mean film management plan?
I'm sorry, Phil, not file. Phil management plan is the one that we went through with Mr. Martins.
And did you go through the earth removal
We don't-
plan?
Well, it was all attached.
Requirements?
It was phase 1, phase 2. When it was filling, phase 1, how it was gonna fill, and phase 2, yes. It's 99 pages. I could send it to you if you want.
I'm quite familiar with it. I have read it as well as the FEIR and the agreement between the town and
Okay.
the RDA in requirement, in regards to this.
Now, mind you, we're talking about land that was bought after this. A considerable amount of land was bought after this.
So has it been through DEP or MEPA review?
That's like Mr. McLaughlin, allow him to speak.
Yeah, may I speak? I'll just be brief. I actually have a plan that I'd like to pass out that I think would answer some of your questions, perhaps, Mr. Shea.
Thank you.
Yeah. Last but not least, Mr. Bond.
Thanks.
What this shows, and you're familiar with it, we've been before you, obviously, on this, and this is our last phasing plan. But what it shows is, we had a permit to bring soil into the property, and it says reclamation soil area, reclamation soil placement area. So that's the area up in this area that is outlined in a green dashed line. And then, as I think you all know, there was PFAS discovered on the property. So what we did is we gathered up the PFAS and we put it under a cap, and that is all been signed off by the DEP and what have you, both the PFAS cap and the reclamation area where all those soils are. I have Mr. Begley here, who was our LSP, our licensed site professional, who did the extensive studies of the property, determined that there was contamination, came up with a plan to remedy the contamination problem, and the DE signed off on that, and it's no longer an issue. And I want to point out one thing: the area. This was an area where we could have brought soil. We didn't use the whole area. We just used a portion of it, and that's shown on that plan. But the RDA asked me to come here because, as you know, we've taken an appeal of your subdivision approval, and we're going to ask the court to interpret the different issues that we can't agree upon. Your attorneys have one view, our attorneys have another view. That's what you have the courts for. But what the RDA said is, well, why don't we just change, and I didn't know they were doing this, why don't we just change the zoning and just put a Y so that you can remove soil in a green business park, and that will be, an easy solution for everyone. So Johanna and Savory asked me to come here this evening to address your board. And also, I know there's a lot of talk about contamination on this property and where's the contamination and what's the status of it. The status of it is, except for that small area where the PFAS cap is, there's no contamination on the property. We've cleaned it all up at great expense. The area that we want to remove the soil, the 480,000 cubic yards from, is up.
You have to flip that.
Yeah,
have to flip it.
it's basically the whole 480,000 is up in this area, and it's way far away from, where the PFAS cap was, et cetera. And so that's it. We just wanted to come to the board and give you these plans and see if you had any questions, et cetera. And hopefully if the town meeting makes that, makes that change, we can all move on and we can develop the property, and that's it. So that's all I have to say. I don't know if you have any
Want to
questions.
speak, Savory?
I just wanted to briefly explain my position.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for your time.
Just let me say one thing, and I want Savory to say something, obviously. When we spoke with Mr. Martins, showing us this map from the field management plan, it was very open, and quickly we identified that area that he wants to take the fill out of was property that he bought after. Along the front of Montello, there was several houses, and there is a copy of that. I think it's the next one down, isn't it? Shows you the houses, all the property that was part and parcel. Anyway, that particular hill, we call it the Borowski Hill. At the bottom of that on Montello is a house to be taken down. Going up the hill is the Borowski, which was a construction yard. And on top of that is the Allen House, which is another house that would have to be taken down. All this property was bought after, and it was all closed. In about 2019, he closed on all these properties. So there really wasn't a lot of talk about anything after that. They went along working on the infrastructure, getting that ready. And then now we're at a time where he wants to continue, simply because, as you well know, today standards, people want to buy property, and they are going to buy property. They want to have it pad ready, number one, and they want to have it at eye level. So it's important for this last piece to be taken out and down. Would you want to say something?
So the property, the area that you're looking to cut 480,000 out is outside of what's in the fill plan here, which I'm expecting is
Yes,
outlined in the yellow.
it's,
Yes.
yes. It's the,
It's actually a smaller area than that. It's shown on the plan that I just gave you folks, and it's shown on subsequent filings at the DEP.
Yeah, so if I may, what I tried to do for you is flip this upside-down plan to match their upside-down plan. So the document, this picture, is the same orientation as that, and it appears as though the area that is, where the hill is at, is over here,
Yeah, that's right.
and the area shown, highlighted is,
so Mr. Brock, if you, this is the, this came out of the plan. It shows all, there we go. These are all the properties that are included in there. If you look at number 10, on the left-hand side, you look at number 10, 11, and 12. Dave, right there, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, those are the properties.
Those are
where
the
most
three
of this-
properties that they, which is Dave Borowski, his contractor yard is right there in the middle of the hill. Bruce and Karen Tusher, their property is at the bottom of Montello, so that house has to come down. And on the top of the very, very, very top of that hill is a house. Was sold, but it belonged to John and Lisa Allen. That's the area. Well, that's kind of upside down too, but that's another map that we received from Route 44, which is, yeah, it's upside down. We got them all upside down.
Bowler Engineering.
Yeah, Bowler
Bowler
Engineering.
Engineering, puts north at the south.
I know, no key, you really can't understand it. Do you know something about that?
Yeah, it just, what it shows is it shows,
How far away the PFAS in that area is from the very, very top line, which is really Montello Street, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to explain this?
Yeah, go
All right.
for it if you want.
The blue circle there on the left-hand side near the 403, that's the PFAS cap. If you go down from that, that's Route 44. And then that area with the blue,
The top.
well, actually, that's showing the distance of the PFAS from any, PFAS cap from any area we're disturbing. So, and then, of course, the hill is way over to the right there, it's Green Parkway. So I think that, it's getting late at night, I think you folks get where we're coming from. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any.
If I may, Savory Moore, Vice Chair of the RDA. Basically, I think to simplify this is that for the past couple of years or so between the developer and the planning board and different opinions of different attorneys involved, it's been sort of like watching a tennis match going back and forth, and it doesn't seem to be ending anyway. So what we did at the RDA was we put forth this article in order to change the zoning so that we could get moving on making this a piece of property in Carver that brings financial benefits to the town of Carver sooner than later by eliminating the ban on earth removal and allowing this hill to be removed at the same time the infrastructure is being built. It gets it pad ready, and it doesn't make the next potential owner of the lot inside that circle have to go through another 2 year of approvals before he or she can build. So what this does, it's sort of like, the way I look at it now, and I understand it's the law to build the infrastructure first, but in my opinion, in this particular case, it's almost like building a finished driveway for a house before you clear the lot. And once the finished driveway is in, you bring in all the heavy equipment to take everything else down, and therefore basically ruining what you've what you've built as a driveway, and also not being able to have the benefits of the financial for another 2 years while that permitting process for whatever is built there is happening. So we're looking for your endorsement tonight just to change the zoning in this particular green business park so that as the developer is building his infrastructure, he can take that hill down as well and make that property usable more quickly and start reaping dividends for Carver.
And if I may just add one more thing, and we talked about this when we were at the planning board. Mr. Martins said that it's going to be a construction site taking that hill down, and you have to quadrant it off and have to separate it and make it well known that nobody can go beyond that point to take out any other dirt or anything like that. So that would be strict of that. And that's, I remember they was.
Well, I think that's something the Earth Removal Committee would do with their limit of work. I
We
believe.
just want to make sure that we relayed that information, that someone's not going to, it's not going to be quadrant off. It's going to be well known as a construction site, and that's as far as they can go. And when they go out of there, you have to take a right.
So let me just say that we have never taken 2 years to permit anything. As a matter of fact, it's generally within a couple months. Second of all, the requirements of the FEIR, which you should be familiar with, are still in effect. And as a board and as a town, this is what we agreed to. Everybody knew what we were getting into, and part of the reason was because this property was so contaminated, not only from usage on it, but by the Ravenbrook unlined dump fill across the road, that any changes to the topography of this is going to create issues with the contamination, with the filtering, with the change of the aquifer and the flow. And it is still under the auspices of the FEIR as approved through the Department of Energy and Environmental Affairs, the Mass DEP and MEPA, as well as the contract signed between the town of Carver and the agreements of the planning board. And I might just mention that when we approved this site plan, one of the requirements was that all material must be reused on the property. And as far as how much can be cut from this is specifically outlined in the FEIR, from where it can be taken and where it's supposed to go. I don't see that this does anything but spot zoning as a favor more than anything else. Everybody wants to know, this is an urban renewal plan, and it falls under the state as much as it falls under us. Us doing this may or may not mean anything, but the bottom line is it's your job to ensure that the requirements of the final environmental impact and contract with the town are met. You are a semi-autonomous corporate agency charged with a particular job. And I'm not understanding why this is an issue. Come forward with a site plan. We'll approve it. It's not an issue. We've already said that. Tell us what's going to be there so we can work with them. But nobody knows. Nobody wants to tell us. And it's a requirement of the urban renewal plan that it all go through the state agencies and get approval. If the FEIR changes, fine. But right now, what we're looking at is what, an excavation. Where's it going? It's all going to be pulled off site. Is that what the plan is? Because that's not what the agreement with the town says. It's supposed to be used to fill all this area. Off the top of my head, it was about 700,000 yards of fill, but I'm not going to stick to that. I have to review my notes. I expect that we'll continue this so we can have further discussions on it. But everybody knew what they were getting into. This is no surprise. I want to know what the issue is, why this isn't going according to the plan, and why we're doing this now.
Mr. Chair, if I could just straighten one thing out. I think you said that there were issues with contamination on the
George,
property.
you need to identify yourself.
There are clear issues of contamination on the property.
No, there aren't. I have my LSP here.
George.
So my name is
Tell
George.
tell them we are for a minute.
I'm trying to.
Okay, thank you.
My name's George McLaughlin. I'm a 50% owner of Route 44 Development LLC, the owner of the property. I just want to correct the record. the contamination issue has been resolved. It's been signed off by the DEP. I have my LSP here, Jim Begley, if you'd like to, and I think I should have him address the board. No longer a contamination issue on that property because the PFAS has been gathered up and capped. There is no other contamination on that property. So I take issue when in a public forum, you malign the property by saying.
Excuse me, I didn't malign anything.
Well, I
There's
think you did, and I'm
contamination
just,
on that
if I
property,
may
whether
finish,
it's covered or not,
if I.
it is still affected by the Ravenbrook unlined.
No, it isn't. No, it
Oh,
isn't.
it's
Now,
not?
no, it's not. Now, you're stating inaccuracies, and I don't want to get in a fight with you, but I just want to correct the record. You make these statements that are inaccurate.
I do
and-
not.
Well, you
Excuse
do.
me, I take
You-
exception.
you do.
There's contamination
Well, you
on that
should, you
property.
should.
Whether you
Look, I don't
capped
want,
it or
I don't
not,
want to
it
fight
is
with you.
still on that
Why don't we
property.
hear from my LSP, Mr. Shea, rather than from you? I'd like to have
Great.
Mr. Begley, address the board and correct those inaccuracies.
There's no inaccuracies.
I'm Jim Begley. I'm a licensed site professional with MT Environmental Restoration. I have a request, Tom.
Yes.
Could you bring up the figure that you scanned in?
Yeah, it's not very good, though.
Yeah.
Not as good as yours.
Well, they have,
Yeah, you have this figure.
You have the hot, they have the
So
actual.
it's the next one after.
It's, yeah, that one. And they have a copy. He handed it out.
Right, and just flip that so it's ready. What I wanted to point out was the location of the PFAS contaminated soil that's been capped. It's on the property writ large,
That's
absolutely.
what I was saying.
And it's not within the area that's being excavated as part of the fill operation. There's been assessment across the entire property looking for sources of contamination. Route 44 Development assessed all of the parcels that they purchased prior to purchase to verify the condition of those parcels, especially the new parcels out in the front. And there weren't any issues identified with contamination on the property from that. Where the PFAS was located is in that southwestern portion of the property, and that was material that was brought into the property prior by the prior owner. It was a sludge material from wastewater treatment operations that was brought in. It had been turned into a compost material, and it was used to fill a portion of this area. We identified two parts of the problem out there. One that was a little bit further to the north, along the western boundary, that is an area where they mix that material with soil. That was about 1 acre in size. There was an area to the south of that, where the cap is now, that was about 8 acres in size. That's where they took the material that they mixed with soil and placed. Because one area was smaller than the other, we were able to excavate all of the PFAS contaminated soil in that mixing area and relocate it to get the cap to the right slope and so forth, so that it would be not absorbing any water, not passing anything through to the groundwater from that point forward. And we have a groundwater monitoring system in place to monitor that into the future, and that's going to be a long-term monitoring because of the nature of PFAS contaminants in groundwater. So, and the rest of the parcel, we don't have any soil contamination issues. We have the issues where we've capped it, and that's it at this point. It's on the property. It's in the southwestern corner.
and it's been signed off by DEP. Jim?
Yeah, well, yes, it's gone through the MCP process for assessment and remediation of contamination. As LSP, I've overseen that process for several years. We went through all the phases necessary, identified a solution. DEP agreed with what that solution was, and we implemented it. So at this point, it has reached a closure state under the Mass Contingency Plan, the MCP. that requires this monitoring program going forward. And we also monitor the cap as well to make sure that there's no penetration through the cap that might start water leaching through. So that's the current status of it. And that will be the status of it for long-term going into the future.
That's
So,
not
Mr.
my
Shea,
issue.
all I
My
wanted
issue-
to do
my
is,
point was that it's there.
underneath the cap, it's been
It's
approved
on
by
the property, which is
DEP.
what I said, and you've turned it into this big thing.
Well,
My
okay.
point is, as long as it's within what's approved by the FEIR, I am for it, because that's what, when I joined this board, that's what I signed up for. But what we're talking about here are changes to above surface water runoff, underground water changes, filtration process, infiltration process, and things along those lines. So as far as I'm concerned, if it's within the FEIR and what we've approved of bringing it down to, I believe was around 90 feet, and the amount that is specific to what may be removed and done with it, I'm fine with that. That's not the problem. The problem is that we seem to be bending over backwards time after time. We've changed countless bylaws, and this town has gone and jumped through hoops in order to support this project. So, and it's just one thing after another. If we were following the book and doing things like we're supposed to under the urban renewal plan, all those properties that were under the threat of eminent domain, and all of that we've gone through in this town, things should be done right, that you signed on to, that you signed an agreement to, that the town signed on to, that we as a board, previous to many of us, signed on to. As long as those things are being done, I'm all for it.
All been done.
They haven't been done because all of a sudden we're here and we're changing or asking to change our zoning bylaws again.
I'm not asking that, the RDA
In order to
did.
support a private corporate entity. As far as I'm concerned, this is spot zoning. This is a problematic, and it just keeps coming back. We keep changing bylaws, we keep changing them back. When is this gonna end? Follow the book. The book is the playbook. It was put there for a reason. We're following it. Why isn't anybody else?
I'm following it.
You mentioned eminent domain. There were no properties taken by eminent domain.
That's not true, and the threat of eminent domain is eminent domain.
That's not true.
That
There were no properties
You
taken
saw
by
us-
eminent domain.
I believe it. It even said it on the board there.
No,
No, it did
no
not.
properties
A
taken by
singular
eminent
property,
domain.
I can guarantee was.
Pardon me?
There was a singular property at the very least that was taken by.
No, there
eminent
wasn't.
domain.
That's another inaccurate
I'll
statement.
look into that then.
Well,
And if
you know,
I was-
you-
if
I'd
I'm
like to
wrong,
know
I
the-
will correct myself, but I will tell you
Well,
right now.
I'd like to know
sell
the
your
address of the
To
property.
me, sell your property or we're gonna take it. That is the threat of eminent domain, and it is just as strong of a threat as the use of taking somebody to
What
court.
does that have to do with what we're
It is the
discussing
use of
tonight? I mean, you
eminent
just
domain.
seem like you
use
want to
eminent
malign
domain
us,
to drive
no matter how
people
you.
out of their houses.
Anything negative you can say against this property, you want to, Mr. Shea. I mean, I
I'm
really
not.
think you should
I've already
recuse
told
yourself.
You, I support the
Well,
project. I support
You don't
everything.
support it.
Do
You
by
malign
the
it
book.
every time you can.
No,
and I'm
that's
not going to
true.
put up with your nonsense.
Well,
all right,
good,
I'm just
good.
not
You
going to put
don't
up with your
have to.
nonsense.
You don't have to put
All right,
up with
well,
my
you know, you're a
nonsense.
very negative influence on this town
Okay.
and this board.
Can we not have any name
Well,
calling?
you
Shame
know,
on you.
Yeah.
I live in this town, no, it's not.
wow, fine.
If I might, unless it's
No,
Yeah.
open for public hearing, I would like to continue this so I can
Absolutely,
quantify some of
yes.
my statements.
I just
Well-
asked him no name calling.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Can I just add one more thing and then we're done?
okay.
In the packet that I gave you,
Of which we didn't all receive because an email came through at 5 o'clock tonight.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't,
I didn't, yeah.
I didn't.
In the fill management plan that's the one we've all been looking at, we have. On page 1-4, it cites 1.2.3, site setting and potential receptors. Let me just read this. It says the homes along Montello Street in Carver are all currently served by private wells, and there are mapped water supply wells along Montello Street and Heather's Path. Based on these assessments, the soil reporting category, comma, RCS-1 what he just mentioned as defined in the MCP parenthesis, and that was this, whatever that means with these numbers, has been,
Massachusetts contingency plan.
say what?
Massachusetts contingency plan.
There it is. And you can look it up, it's right here, has been determined to be appropriate for the site.
Has the fill management plan been completed?
Yes.
Yes. So it's been completed. Thank
Right.
you.
Yeah, as far as I can.
No, it's completed, that's correct.
It's all over and done with.
Right, signed off.
But the earth removal aspects of the FEI.
No, that, they're just citing it. All I'm trying to tell you is that in 2017, after that, Route 44 went and bought significant amount of property.
After the fill management plan was completed, yes. So I just.
Buying all that property in June 2019, on that list of properties that that are there, they closed on all of that.
Yeah, after the fill management was closed, which doesn't reflect.
I'm not aware of that. I'm only aware of they bought all these properties. So this fill management, when it was citing these homes, it was an entity above and beyond that, telling us that everything their wells were appropriate and so forth and so on. So there is no contamination as far as, we're looking at. Now, I want to clear one thing up. You talked about eminent domain. They bought all these properties way, way above market value. Mr. Borofsky's property, which was considered construction yard, was initially purchased. It's 200, it wasn't not much money. It was purchased at
280.
$285,400, 7.90 acres. That was bought by Route 44 for $800,000. And they found a site for them, I believe it was Plymouth, and they moved them. I don't call that eminent domain.
The threat of eminent domain. And
You call that a threat of eminent
The
domain?
threat of eminent domain is sell your property or we're gonna take it through the court system.
Do you
That
have
is a threat.
confirmation of that? Do you have a
It's part
court
of
reading?
It's part of the urban renewal plan.
Where does it say
You had to
that?
set up aspects of the urban renewal plan to be able to address the issue of eminent domain. And there's reasons for that, because you put people under threat of it. There's letters in the record that people didn't want to move, that they didn't have a choice. They were threatened. Sell the land or we'll take it. Most of the people in Carver could not afford to go to court to fight over it. Anybody that wanted to, there's very little chance that they would have either succeeded or had the money to do so. So what choice did they have?
Sir, I am going to disagree with you. And if
It's-
you're
you
going
can
to cite,
disagree
I'm
all
going to
you
tell you
want.
one thing.
The
I've been on this committee
Is part
since
of the
two,
urban renewal plan.
I've been on
and
this
you
committee,
had to address
I've
it.
been on this committee since it began, through all of its hearings, including the
domain is
planning
real.
board. Now, if you want to cite in your conversation using eminent domain and the force of
The
eminent
threat
domain
of
to those
eminent
people,
domain,
then
yes.
you need to come up with some facts and statements that are true.
Oh, they are true.
No, they're not.
Yes, and there's records to prove it.
If
And
I-
there's people that have
Then
spoken.
you need to come up with those
I do not,
records.
because they're in your records.
You can Google it. You
They're
want to
in
see
your
it, it's right
records.
here.
Well, it is a public hearing, so you will have your chance to speak, but thank you.
No, I
Yes.
disagree. I disagree. So,
Mr. Lake, do you have any
well,
questions?
you have what we gave you, and I'm sorry if you didn't get it early
No.
enough.
No, we didn't.
If you have any questions, don't hesitate, just
Very
give us a
good.
call. Go
Very
give me
good.
a call.
Yeah. Mr. Robinson, any comments, questions? Mr. Shea, you all set for the moment? I will open it
I
up.
do need to do some fact checking, but yes, I'm all set.
Okay.
All set for the
Mr.
moment. thank you.
Sardillo, what's that?
I mean, I really do get upset when they take property by eminent domain. That must be extremely traumatic.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure it's all good.
Whereas this is
I
a
can't
public
even hear-
hearing,
I
would
can't hear
anyone
what you're
like
saying.
to come up and speak?
Can I stay here or do I have to talk there?
Come on up so
It's
that
probably
we
best to
can
come up
hear you on
here,
the mic.
and you can just sign in.
Using the flower and sun.
I like sunflowers, very pretty. So I have been a lifetime resident of Carver.
Tell them who you are, please.
Oh, sorry, Patricia Cooney, 5 Canterbury Path. It's been a little while since I've been at any meetings. So I came to this one because it was really important to me. I see the huge amounts of water issues that Carver is having right now. Middleborough's having it right now. What is this gonna do to our water, pulling that much dirt out? We know that it's contaminated areas, like he said, it's capped off, but you can't tell me that, this isn't gonna unleash a huge plume of potential mischief into my water. And I don't have, just like a lot of these people that didn't have money to fight off eminent domain, I don't have 30 or 40 grand to be able to redo my septic. Is that guy gonna pay for it if he screws our town's water up? That would be something that I would definitely enjoy having as a fail-safe if this does get pushed through, which I really don't think it should, because like Connie said, when does it end? We have bylaws for a reason. Is another corporation gonna come in and say, hey, we're gonna take you to court? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. I'm gonna take you to court if you don't change your bylaws that are gonna, make it so I can't make umpteenth amount of money by taking out the soil that's our aquifer's filtration system. That's insane. That's all. And I really hope that you guys stand for us and keep this from happening. If we have to fight it in court, then so be it, because I can't stand having another huge pile of sand taken out of this town. It already happened over on 44 heading down. And look at Middleborough, look at Carver. We can't even get clean water to half of our town. That is insane. We're supposed to be a major world here, like, civilized. We don't even have clean water. So I hope you guys stand up and do not let this happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else in the public like to speak on this matter?
Karen Lapham, 67 Main Street, although I just moved, so now I'm over on, where am I? I'm over off of Plymouth Street, and I'm now on Middleborough water, because we don't have wells over that end of town anymore that are sufficient or work and are in good order, and we all know that story. I think that from day one when this project came forward, this person keeps changing his story about what he's putting in there. He originally wasn't losing any of the soil. Now we're moving the soil. This has just been, I've been following it since January. It just goes back and forth. It's, come forward, come with clean hands, come tell the right story and stop changing it. And our water is more important than anything here. I'm all for something going in there. We need something, we absolutely do, but we have to do it right. And all the money, time, energy, and resources that went into capping that to make it safe for people, safer, we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen, because it did. And we have to do everything we can to make sure it stays the way that it's gonna. And it's upsetting, and I guess that's all I have to say, and I appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Mr. Shea, if a site plan was made for that lot within the loop, as you suggested is the way to go, and that involved earth removal, that the earth removal committee approved, does that allow that to happen?
Well, we would have to approve it, but we would approve it based on the requirements of the FEIR, which are height requirements of between, I think, 88 and 90 feet. Certain amount, the quantity of soil to be removed and the disposition of that soil, which are all outlined in the earth removal requirements of the FEIR. I'm all for it, 100%. It would have been the easiest, quickest way to go forward with this thing. So I don't understand why we're here and why the town's being asked to jump through hoops again. I just don't understand that. It's all outlined. The playbook is there. It tells us what to do, how to do it, and where to do it. And that's what I'm going by.
And wasn't that what we discussed at our last meeting about this? As if they came forward with a proper plan? Yeah.
Come
Well,
forward.
it's been discussed at many meetings.
No, but the last one we had with them, that was made as a suggestion if they would do that.
We can't
Yeah.
approve it, so how it would work was, we approve a site plan, you're gonna bring it down to this level, you're gonna put a building here, septic, wastewater, and access for, our vital equipment, you know, just like any other one, and then we would approve it. It's as simple as that, and as long as it's between, and I believe the numbers again are between 88 and 92 North American.
Yeah, which is about where the road is.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little higher
Yeah.
because the road is supposed to collect.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of the issues involved in this, why the NEPA and DEP are, because this is under the auspices of the state, and we are currently, we're not in charge of this. This isn't like some normal site plan. This is an urban renewal plan. And that is both a federal and a state issue, and we are limited in our scope of the project. But yes, I'm firmly of the opinion that coming forward with a site plan would have been the way to go. And once we're approved it, then the earth removal committee can approve all the earth removal in regards to that site plan. I'm sure it was done with the site plan that we've already approved for the roadway. And part of the thing with the roadway was we required that all the dirt and soil be reused on site. That was part of the approval of that one because that was part of the FEIR. And so, yes, there are ways to move forward with this. And again, I think this is an important project for the town. But again, the town and the state spent thousands of man hours, and I couldn't even guess at how much money putting this together, this plan, to make it right for the town. Because an urban renewal plan is different. It's not somebody coming in and buying a piece of property and saying, this is what I want to build there. It's under the requirements of the state in order to, and the federal government, in order to improve land, and that's where the threat of eminent domain came into this whole prospect. I know, as you're sitting on the RDA, you have a whole section in regards to what your requirements are, in regards to eminent domain. You had to put people up, you had to find places to put them for the time and things along those lines. You had a plan for that. That's because it's Damocles' sword. It's hanging over people's heads. If they can do it to these people, they can do it to anybody.
Well, I mean, that's true in a lot of cases other than just here.
Right? No, I know. And when you go out west, they're a lot more liberal with it, or not politically liberal, but they use it a little more often, you know, take somebody's house, put up a muffler shop, because it's better for the town. So, but I think Carver, most of the people in this town, they're all property owners, and every person struggled to get that property. Nobody gave it.
I don't think anybody adapts that.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
So no other members of the public would like to speak on this?
I want to say one more thing.
Okay, very good.
It's Karen Lapham again. I just want to say that not even just at this meeting, at other meetings, the word eminent domain has come up. And when you Google it, you can see it. Whether we actually took one by eminent domain, anybody's home, it was the threat of it. And until you lose your home for something you didn't do, you'll never know how it feels to have someone say, I'm gonna take your house. So let's not keep pretending that eminent domain was never an issue in this town in 2016, because it was. And people that lived here in Plimpton don't live there anymore because their houses are gone because somebody felt that they were gonna buy them out, eminent domain them, and it's, let's not say that it didn't happen, because it absolutely did, and the news can prove that, I guess, unless the news is lying. So I hope we don't keep having that argument.
Let me make it clear that I do not believe that any houses were taken by eminent domain.
Threat of it was.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean that property wasn't.
Oh, it's a property.
The people are gone, that's what it means.
So if there are no other people coming up to speak on this, could I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Continue.
Oh, we're going to continue it?
We're gonna-
Well, that was my question.
Next week.
Based on what you've heard tonight.
Okay.
And we've got a meeting in a week,
Okay,
if we do now.
very good.
We might want to leave all the hearings open
Oh, all right,
until we hear back from town council or any other comment.
very good. Well, the motion to continue to next week,
What's
I'll
the date?
make that said motion.
the
That's the
16th.
16th.
Motion to continue the public hearing on the bylaw change for use regulations to get into
Article 8.
Article 8 till September
16th,
16th,
yes.
2025, 7 PM, Carver Town Hall room.
I'll second that.
Second one. Mr. Lake?
Aye. Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Costello says that.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
Is there anything we need to provide you
Yeah.
next week?
Well, perhaps we'll all have time to have looked at that information that you sent out. But I think I received it when I was driving
Oh.
in an
okay,
email.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So-
was 32 pages and I wasn't going to print 32
Yeah,
times 6.
good copy,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have-
Try to use technology when we can.
Yeah. Very good.
All right,
I guess we're good.
yep.
Well, you guys have a good night. Thanks for coming.
We're not gonna
Okay,
get
the
any
next
town
item
hall.
on the agenda is Article 9.
So,
You saw, say what?
Amend the Carver zoning bylaw, section 290-2-2.6, accessory apartments, to see if the town will vote to amend the Carver zoning bylaw, section 290-2-2.6, accessory apartments, to comply with changes to Massachusetts general law as referenced by the Attorney General's July 30th, 2025 partial approval of town meeting's April 2025 vote that allow accessory dwelling units by right to read as follows and further amend section 290-2-2.3 use regulation schedule and section 290-6.2 terms defined accessory apartment as well as section 290-3-3.3 table of parking requirements or take any other action relative thereto.
May I, Madam?
Please do.
So the Attorney General's partial approval letter was essentially fairly technical in nature, where our previous zoning bylaw mentioned single-family dwellings. The AG said that the single-family language is problematic. So the bylaw should be changed to strike single-family and just call them dwellings. So as you can see here in the marked-up version on the screen, every place it says single-family, that language has been stricken from the bylaw. Another concern by the Attorney General that didn't pass muster is limiting an accessory apartment to 2 bedrooms. Essentially, what the Attorney General said is that an accessory dwelling unit is like a house. It's not special, it doesn't need a special permit, and you don't get to limit them to how many bedrooms you have. It is 900 square feet. However many bedrooms somebody feels comfortable putting into a 900 square foot building is what you get to do, because the building code doesn't allow you to regulate the interior of space. There are certain code requirements for living space, but limiting it to no more than 2 bedrooms has been struck by the Attorney General in their partial approval letter. Here in section 7, you see another, once again, parking to the single-family housing is now for the principal dwelling. Single-family housing struck again. One of the things the Attorney General also noted was that the use regulation code, which has minimum requirements for size, was the minimum lot size is not something that you can apply to ADUs. So while the bylaw previously said pursuant to Massachusetts general law requires a special permit to be built and comply with those use regulations, it does not comply with the use regulation regarding minimum lot size.
Could you, I'm sorry, could you explain that?
Yeah, can I, Alan, do you mind if I just grab your letter for just a second? Because I didn't.
Yeah.
I'll get it right back.
Board member, I can see.
Yeah, dimensional requirements. This is page 9 of the Attorney General's letter. It's an 11-page letter. Once again, for the sake of printing, I didn't print the 11 pages that are signature on. Dimensional requirements. Section 71.03, this is the state's CMR, this is the Code of Massachusetts, prohibits a town from requiring a minimum lot size for a protected use ADU. So that is the gist, that the state's regulations prohibit a town from requiring a minimum lot size for a protected use ADU. So that requirement for a minimum lot size for an ADU doesn't comply. Now keep in mind, there is a minimum lot size for a house. So if someone's going to have a house and an ADU, they still have to comply with zoning for that. But if someone has a non-conforming lot, it is not 60,000 square feet, that does not prohibit them from creating an ADU. I think is the gist of the Attorney General's requirements here.
Thank you.
So that is that footnote that is in the table, that the accessory dwelling unit have to comply with everything except that minimum lot size. So in terms of define, that statement would now say which, with the exception of minimum lot size, complies with the use and dimension regulations stated in section 2.3.2. That's further defined in Massachusetts general law. Interestingly enough, one of the things we tend to overlook is municipalities, we have to keep a record of these things and report ADUs approved and denied, and that's a requirement that wasn't in our zoning bylaw. We added it in there. And the last thing was on parking. So they did strike the requirement for parking because I don't think it was clear in the ADU's review that there is not any apartments within a half a mile of a transit station. So you cannot require parking for an ADU within half a mile of a transit station. And since there are no transit stations in Carver, I am fairly certain that that will pass muster, that one, as we had before, one for each apartment. And I just added the clause, not located within a half a mile radius of a transit station. Once again, we've forwarded these on to town council for their review as well, and we should hear back from them certainly before we close our hearing. So those are those changes. Mostly wordsmanship, striking out references to single family, not allowing it to be limited to 2 bedrooms, allowing them on substandard lots, they don't have to comply with minimum lot size, and the parking requirement, which I believe is still a 1 per accessory apartment as we put in our bylaw, but just noting that that it's not located within a half a mile radius of a transit station. I'm happy to take any questions or hear from the public.
So when we went over this last year and did this ad nauseum, the whole single-family dwelling thing was brought up over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, just a couple weeks ago at our last meeting, when we went over the duplexes, the single-family house was gone over and over and over again repeatedly. So, and clearly that they had sent this back in July, so this shouldn't even been, that shouldn't even been mentioned or brought up at the last meeting. It should have been actually explained to us that that's the cases that multifamily dwellings, duplex dwellings, single-family dwellings, any amount that is in a residential or single-family zoned area
is eligible for it, and that is not what we've been told over and over again. So we will have to comply to meet the state, but I think that maybe we should rethink the duplexes in regards to the town, in regards to this, because we just approved a duplex and we were told that it's ineligible for an ADU, but that's not the case. So now all of a sudden we're tripling on property,
I would agree, yeah.
and it's problematic. And I think where you crossed out single family in red, it should all be put, the words principal should be replaced with it. Because now we've got duplexes, and duplexes can come under separate ownership. And then which one of them is eligible for the ADU? Are we gonna start that fight? So I think it's important that we identify principal structures when we do.
Mr. Bott, these were the changes that came back.
Correct, this is my edit to the ADU bylaw based on the AG's letter
Okay.
that I forwarded to town council.
I
We can
haven't-
certainly plug in principal dwelling versus single-family dwelling.
And they certainly haven't had an opportunity to read through what was sent over from the Attorney General, because I only got it at the start of the meeting. So those are my
Well-
recommendations, but I also recommend we continue it.
Yeah, we will continue. Any other questions from the board before you open up to the public?
So just so I'm clear, that was Connie's suggestion that we discuss, is that the board's desire by acclamation? We don't need a motion on it, but I just want to make sure that
Yes.
we're not out here on the limb. Okay.
No,
That's it.
no, I
Have we
was
heard
just- I
back
was-
from Amy Questle in regards to this?
Amy Fussell does have a copy of this as well, but we've not heard back.
And has she put in her 2 cents?
Not heard back. She's been looking at other bylaws. Well, hit her up this week.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any comments before I open this up to the public? Does anyone in the public have any comments on this matter tonight? No? All right. So we get a motion to continue?
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for Article 9 until September 16th,
Perfect.
2025, 7 PM, Carver,
Oh,
Town Hall, Room 1. Okay, please.
okay.
Too late?
Is it too late if we've already
No, it hasn't
continued?
been seconded.
That's fine.
Okay, all right, you can come up, Karen.
Karen Lapham again. That was a good point that Connie made, because where I just moved from, there are 6 single townhouses. Is that person that owns that property, who the town originally thought they were all sold, and now they found out that no, they're all rentals. So what if that landlord comes in and wants to add 6 ADU units to that property? So that's something you have to think about too, you know?
Agreed.
I believe you can put an ADU on a lot, and ADU on a lot, not 6 ADUs on a
Well,
lot.
there's 6 units on the lot I moved from.
And if they get separated in condominium units?
Those are considered townhouses because
Right.
there's 10 feet between them, or 12 feet, I'm
Oh.
not sure. But who's to say she doesn't want to come in and build 6 ADU?
Well,
units?
for instance, yes, look,
You know,
if
just-
she separated them into individual condominium units or something. then
They
I
are,
can- I can
but
see.
like, they are all individual, you see them, they're right
Yeah,
down here.
yeah.
There's 6 individual units, who's to say she doesn't want to put 6 units in the back? And she doesn't maintain her water, so. Never had my well cleaned over it.
So we have a motion to continue to September 16th?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, okay. Mr. Lake? Mr. Robinson?
Mr. Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Villa says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye. Lastly, on the agenda this evening, we have Article 13, to see if the town will vote to change the zoning district of the parcels shown as Assessors Map 124-13, Map 124-15, and Map 125-3A, off of Shoestring Road and shown on the attached copy of a portion of the assessors map from residential agricultural to general business, and further to include parcels shown on assessors map 124-13, map 124-15, map 125-3A in the planned tourist commercial district and overlay districts, and to amend the zoning map to reflect the reference change. And change zoning of map 124-13, map 124-15, and map 125-3A off of Shoestring Road from residential agricultural RA to general business, and to include in the planned tourist commercial district overlay district. Good evening.
Troy Tanzer, Moriarty, Beal and Malloy here on behalf of the applicant who.
Hi, everybody. JP Dancero, Cranberry Acres, Jellystone Park.
And the purpose of seeking this amendment from the RA to the general business would be that if we're in general business, we can seek a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals for the sale and consumption of alcohol. And being in the planned tourist commercial district would reach the objectives that they're seeking in that overlay district as well, through economic support and such like that. So
Could you?
yeah.
I'm sorry. You kind of tailed off.
Yeah.
What exactly?
So-
why are you asking to be put a planned tourist commercial district?
So that's going to allow for us to get that special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals, which allow for the sale and consumption of alcohol. And then being in the planned tourist commercial district, it's a tourist site, and it also allows for us to get a special permit for the legal consumption of alcohol.
See, we worked very hard to prove this, with you guys. And part of that approval was that this wasn't going to be open to the public, which kind of is contravening the planned commercial tourist district. Not only that, but this is clearly spot zoning because it is not supported by any plan in this town to turn that. There's no real economic benefits if the only people that are going there have to be paying residents of the place. So I'm having a few issues with it. Not only that, but Shoestring Road isn't really a road that could handle tourist traffic. I understand you're trying to get a liquor license and all, and that it's not allowed in the residential area, but again, what you're asking for is that if at some point things don't work out for you, all of a sudden we have a general business district that we have not planned for. We have not put any thought or effort or work into what needs to be done, what can be done in this area. And I mean, let's just say you guys are serving alcohol, somebody gets hurt, you guys get sued to oblivion, and then we're left to pick up, to deal with the issues in regards to the new zoning for this. And that, I see that as problematic. So, but I understand your point for sure. Your commercial industry and you're looking to make money, and I've heard a lot of good things about your place, and the people that have stayed there have been very happy with it. But I think it's a big ask from this town.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
May I interject for 1 second, if you don't mind? I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
No, please.
To interrupt, and I'm learning a lot too, by the way. So we want to find a way to work better, obviously, with the town as well, and that's part of the idea with this overlay was to how can we increase tourism and bring more people to this town and to experience our campground. You know, how do we create, again, a bigger memory and experience for people with amenities and things that they require in a world-class resort, because that's what we are now. You know, we have 120 cabins, so it's essentially partially a hotel. We've got a water park on the property. We've got a store. We've got all these amazing things that we offer. The one piece of the pie that's missing for our guests from a convenience standpoint, which gives us a competitive disadvantage to our neighbors in the area, whether it's Middleborough or Plymouth or the Cape, is they can't get a beer or a glass of wine because we can't offer it. So the idea was we already went through this process, we're approved once for the license, and then because this agricultural zoning came in, they had to retract that approval. So for us, we're trying to now fix that issue So we can offer those things to our guests when they come into the property. It's not meant to replace a liquor store or a package store. It's an amenity to our existing store that's on the property. So as well as the food items we sell, we're going to offer select beer and wine option for folks, so they don't have to leave the property to run out when they need something. And it's there for the adults that want to have it, along with all the kids that want to see Yogi and Boo Boo and all that good stuff. Some of the parents need a nice drink afterwards, being with all that stuff, right? So the idea is, from my standpoint, the final piece of the pie at some point is to, when you do events, we're doing a lot of church groups, we're doing a lot of civic groups, we're doing, that's something down the road with maybe it's a restaurant that's going to be on the property, or it's simple as just selling the retail beer and wine that we want to do now. But those are things that have to be in place for us to finish the puzzle. And that's what we're asking for today, is to change that zoning out of agricultural to business so we can achieve that goal. And we've been there now for 5 years. Proud to say that I've been there and the entire time through this whole process. And you guys have been very great to us, and we appreciate it. But this is the last thing for us to be able to finish this journey, is to have this piece put in so we can compete and put our stamp. Right now, a lot of our folks go to New Hampshire, they go to Maine. We're missing out. So we'd like to, find a way to bring more people to Carver. Work with the other tourism that's here in the city, King Richard's Fair, all the other cool stuff that we do. We've got a lot of cranberry programs we're starting to roll out. But this is a needed piece to the puzzle, and we would just ask that you guys can help us in this challenge to get there.
Can you refresh me and my mind? I can't remember if this is a year-round facility.
No, ma'am, it's seasonal. It's April through October.
Okay.
Actually, we closed November 9th this year, I lied, but it's April through the first week of
Thank you.
November.
And you do allow people to drink on the premises? If
Oh, yes, they can bring, right now they bring their own, people bring whatever they want to bring.
Yeah.
Or they run out and go down the road to wherever, and come back. But yeah, right now alcohol is allowed on the property.
Okay.
Run out to our local establishments that are already in business and licensed to use our local, amenities in that respect. So, which, I think it supports our local businesses that way. So, but
Right.
Again, I don't want to get stuck with a general business district or a planned tourist commercial district that we aren't, this town has no plans for, never had plans for, and I see the spot zoning and it's problematic.
I would agree. Does anyone else have any comments on the board? No? No? Whereas this is a public hearing, would anyone like to come up and speak on this?
I have a couple questions.
Patty Cooney, 5 Canterbury Path. So now, the thing that's holding him up to get this liquor license is just that agricultural land?
Liquor license are not allowed to be given out in residential agricultural zoned properties.
So would he be able to sell the land? That's the part, that's the agricultural stuff, or is the whole land?
No, it's residential / agriculture, all residential.
Okay, all
It's
that.
one.
Okay.
So it have to be general business or.
Okay, so it's not just like one piece of the property that's being the problem, it's the whole property.
That and all the surrounding properties.
Yeah, okay, that's what I just wasn't sure. Okay, thank you.
I don't know if I'm at this for the record, but I know you guys know this.
JP, you gotta tell me or.
Oh, JP Dancero, Cranberry Acres. One more comment. We have several neighbors, not so close. They're out on Tremont Street. The rest is surrounded by the state forest and cranberry bogs. So we really don't have a residential neighborhood of anything that's impacted in this regard. If
Other
anything.
than when people leave?
What's that?
Other than when people leave
Yeah, other
the
than when
premises.
people, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I've come into that problem quite often. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I think it's been okay for the last 5 years. We did pretty. We get them in and out of there pretty good. But again, unfortunately, last week we had there was a T-bone, camper got hit on the way out of there.
Sat in that truck
But, you know,
with
we're
the
trying to, you know, we're trying to keep, you know, again, to keep the people on property is one thing, you know, to try to sort of limit the going out. But again, we love the idea that the local communities, businesses, restaurants are making a lot of money off of the people coming to this campground. You know, our company has made a huge investment into this property. We hire a ton of people in this town. We have a lot of children, kids, and high schoolers, and people that are getting careers started by working with this property, and we contribute in a lot of different ways. And all what I'm asking is, you know, at this point, is if we can't do what you're saying, Mr. Shea, you know, what can we do to achieve this goal? Like, what's the option? Because I think the option of saying you can't do it, you know, I get a little confused. This is me talking because King Richard's Fair has several beer and wine opportunities on their property, many actually. So how does that stop? Why does that stop us from doing it? I guess I'm just trying to learn, you know. But I again, we're very responsible. You know, thankfully, and I know Chief Dumperley can attest to this. The police have been out there maybe 3 times in 5 years, and no incidents whatsoever. We take that very seriously, and it's not something that we tread on lightly. But it is part of our amenity package and what we're known for as a company, and what our resorts bring across the country, from Texas to New Hampshire to Massachusetts. And it's just a missing piece here, and we'd like to fix that.
I certainly understand where you're coming from.
thank
It's
you.
just, you know, this wasn't, the spot you picked was, I get it, because Carver's not really big on campgrounds anymore. There was a time when that was different, but it's problematic for us because we're the ones that are going to be left to pick up the pieces regardless of whatever happens. It's always going to be the town that ends up with it. If you go for the next 100 years, fantastic. Really, no, honestly, because all the good things I've heard about your site, and we work very closely with everybody involved in that.
Yeah.
The planning board did. We worked very hard to get everything approved.
Yeah,
You
and
knew
we
what you were
appreciate it,
getting.
clearly.
I mean, you knew what you were getting.
Well, it was kind of confusing because when we first went through the process, we did receive the opportunity to have this license.
You didn't ask us though. When
No,
you
no,
did
but
it,
I understand. But just kind of back, because, you know, again, learning all of the history and the bylaws, you know, there's something I think is asking a little much too for a company that's, you know, they were out of state. You know, they were coming in with big ideas, and they thought this was achievable, and they thought they had it, and then all of a sudden they did not. So that's why we're left here to this point. You know, it's a $25 million investment out there, guys, to this property, and it's just something I feel pressure from my standpoint, because we, you know, obviously have goals to meet and you know, return to make to our owners, which is the Brossenbook family. And they're committed to this town and to what we're doing out there. So, you know, it's just a pressure on my end to make sure we try to do this so we can finish, you know, the vision. And so again, if it can't be done this way, you know, I would ask or somebody to advise us, how can it be done? Because again, I just thought it's just difficult to see people going up the road and having a different opportunity. And I get it. I know what you're saying, and I appreciate that. But again, I think that's something, I don't know if that was in the fine writing or the fine details. It just wasn't expressed or pointed out. But here we are. So that's, you know, I guess there's nothing more I can say about it other than I would just ask for this, you know, board's help and, you know, try to figure it out, because we're here to make a better destination in Carver for everybody. And I would hate to see it become a disadvantage, or one day they decide to pull out because they can't do it. And then what happens?
And then we're left with a general business plan tourist district that we have not planned for, or, you know. So I'm just spitballing here, but have you thought of working with maybe some of the local vendors and establishing a private delivery service on site? I mean,
No. No, I mean, people deliver food. You talk like Uber and all that stuff that people.
Right.
I mean, if people wanted to, they could do it now probably anyway. They probably do that. We just don't realize that it's coming in. But no, we haven't. And again, this is something too, as you know, from a control and revenue standpoint. It's better for us to have control of it than to have various
Right.
outlets coming in and out.
There's a lot of liability with
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah, absolutely. Liability with that water zone and park out there too.
Oh.
And, believe me. so we're used to that one. But I guess is there anything that you want to add?
No, I mean, what he has said was we were basing it off of the fact that it is, I know it's zoned for RA, but we're in a position where it's a tourist attraction, and so we figured that it fits more with that zoning. And I understand what you're saying, where it would, if they were to leave, then you'd be stuck with it. But what it is right now is something that's important to the town and economically is helpful. And so we figured that this would be a great way to supplement that. It's not, like you said, it's not going to be a full liquor store, and so you're not taking away business really, unless if you want Bud Light, you're probably going there. But like if you want other stuff, you're going to have to go somewhere else anyway. So I understand what you were saying with the other businesses as well. But yeah, we just figured that it's a great supplement to this.
I get the
this
tourism
campground.
overlay thing I get that part
Yeah.
of it, right? I can kind of wrap my head around why that may not be easy to achieve, but the general business thing, what
But
would be?
it's actually, I would say that the general business
Yeah.
thing is the
More
much
difficult.
more bigger hill to climb. Because if you left, then all of a sudden Walmart or, who knows what's gonna go in there, and it doesn't have to be a business, it could be warehouse, distribution, whatever's allowed in the general business zone.
But how long was Shady Acres there before we took over? They were there like 40 years, I think.
Right.
It's been a campground for a long, long time. And just with the investment we've made and the amount of infrastructure we've put in, including in those cabins, which we built 120 of those things, in that water zone. I don't think it's going anywhere, guys, for quite a long time. That's just, I hear what you're saying.
And I understand your point of view, and I appreciate you coming to talk to us.
No one else has anything to say on this matter? Do we want to continue this one as well?
It would make charge
Yeah,
effective.
let's continue all to the 13th.
Yeah, 16th. right?
16th,
Yeah.
as you know, I'm very good with the calendar.
Yes. Can I get a motion to continue?
I'll make a motion to continue the hearings on Article 13 to September 16, 2025, 7 p.m. Carver Town Hall rooms.
I'll second that.
Second, all right.
Aye. Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
Thank you, everybody.
No, thank you.
So, I have 3 things, does that 3?
Very good.
So we've got the decision to sign.
Yes.
Two questions last week. We've got 2 A&R plans to sign as well. So next week, when our meeting on the 16th, we also have a presentation for the economic development folk on that same day. And we'll have that scheduled likely for earlier in the day. I'll have a conversation with the circuit about when that might be.
Okay.
So we've got the economic development session on the 16th as well as the planning board. I do want to note, and I have been neglecting doing so, that the farmer's market across the street is open every Sunday through October. And in a future farmer's market, the folks at Circuit are going to be out there at the table talking about economic development to folks. They're also going to be at the library as well. Having some discussions with that as well. So we're advancing the economic development plan. Economic development survey is open right now, so anybody who didn't follow recent posts and things like that on our town's website, we have the survey for economic development that Circuit has put together for us. You can find on the front page of the website as well. So I encourage everyone to take a look at the survey and make their concerns, their interests known
Very good.
on the survey. So farmers market, economic development, decision, and 2 A&R plans to sign.
Mr. Todd, just one question for you. At the bottom of page 3, you did have the MBTA zoning bylaw discussion, but I know that we talked about not having that?
Well, that's just in case, I have it on everyone, just in
Okay.
case there's something that comes up that somebody wants to.
Very good.
discuss.
I just want to,
Yep. Currently, we have hearings scheduled, and I'm going to get this one right, I think, for September 23rd,
yes.
for the opening of the hearing for the MBTA bylaw.
Okay, very good.
We are currently vetting a draft of the bylaw we've got.
Okay.
Town council as well.
Now,
Perfect.
did everybody get the email in regards to the MBTA bylaw?
Yes.
But I did have a question. But-
Which email are you talking about?
One.
Tom sent the email. Do you want to discuss that now? or-
Not now,
Okay.
I think next week, a quick
Okay.
5 minutes, and because it's not on our agenda, so I didn't wanna.
Well, it is on the bottom of
Yeah,
page
we've
3.
we've got a catch-all for MBTA zoning bylaw.
Yeah.
Okay, because we were putting in, if we're gonna discuss it, then 16 units per acre, and we only require 315, and we need to provide open space on that
Mm-hmm.
property
Yeah.
and bring that down to a more manageable level. And that's-
Okay.
That's what I want.
All right, very good. Well, we can certainly continue that discussion.
Yeah, because that's a big lot.
It is.
And a lot of it's all been zoned. so.
Yeah, okay.
Was this the email, excuse me, subsequent to 8/21, 8/23, or is this done before that?
No, it was subsequent to that.
I don't know.
Yeah, Thursday, when I was in, I think I forwarded the draft bylaw that we had as one of the board members.
Yeah.
So I was out all last week, but I came in on Thursday from Aqua. And I'm pretty sure that's the afternoon when I sent the email out with the agenda and the draft copy.
Okay.
Exactly.
I do have
Yeah,
it.
for your,
Yeah, okay.
just to give you guys some head start on what we're talking about.
Very good. So you're all set?
I'm all
with-
set.
All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make said motion.
I'll second that.
Very good. Mr. Lake?
Says aye. Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Fisher's aye.
Alan Sedillo says
Mary Ellen Williams says aye. Thank you.